Welcome to Connecting the Community podcast. I am your host, Marj Andre. I will be connecting you to people, organizations, and events that create community. I am creating this podcast in Richmond Hill, an eclectic and very culturally diverse community with lots of trees and streams and interesting people, just up the hill from Toronto. On this podcast, I'm talking with Lucy Gray about the upcoming virtual Compassionate Action Conference, Transforming the World Together. It's presented by the Charter for Compassion. It's happening May 14th and 15th. I feel I need to say that Richmond Hill is a confirmed compassionate city with the Charter for Compassion, and I am involved with Compassionate York Region, as well as a volunteer with the Charter for Compassion. That's why I'm doing this podcast. I'm so glad we found the time. I know you're super busy because the conference is coming up soon, but I thought it was really important that we do this podcast. We can convince more people to come, not just because we want more people to come, but really being part of this conference is so good. But Lucy, can you introduce yourself? Like, what do you really do?
Yep, sure.
What's your involvement with the Charter? And you do not live in Richmond Hill, so yeah.
I do not. That is true. But I wish I was a Canadian right now. That's all I can say about that.
Yeah.
So my name is Lucy Gray. I am based outside of Chicago, Illinois. I'm a longtime educator and ed tech expert. And I've run virtual events for educators for a number of years. And I do part-time work with the Charter for Compassion. The Charter for Compassion is an international nonprofit that was the outcome of theologian and historian Karen Armstrong's TED Prize. She won the first TED Prize from TED, as in TED Talks, in 2008, and in 2009 the charter was launched. It is a document affirmed by communities and religious leaders around the world that compassion is kind of the commonality that we all have. And the charter is now run by Marilyn Turkovich, who was the director of my student teaching program. I did like 35 years ago. I did my student teaching in a specialized urban ed program in Chicago, and went from my college, Beloit College, to Chicago for a semester and did my student teaching. And Marilyn was one of our professors, essentially. And I learned a great deal about multiculturalism from her and others, and also from living in a very diverse part of Chicago. And we've reconnected over the years. I think I saw that she was part of the Charter for Compassion and realized I knew her. So that's how my work with the Charter started. And basically, I help with education initiatives and technology. And the idea behind this conference was the Charter works across sectors. So government, business, the arts, science, education, gender equality, you name it. And there are different groups that are doing compassionate work or sharing their compassionate work in these sectors. But they're talking to themselves, right? They're not necessarily talking to other sectors. And some sectors are a little bit busier than others, like the healthcare sector seems to be pretty robust. And so I thought, why not get everybody together in one place where people could share their work, learn from each other, and build partnerships for furthering compassionate work around the world. And particularly, I think it's relevant now, given what's going on in the U.S. and other places. This work needs to continue and strengthen if we're going to make the world a better place. So that's kind of the thinking behind it, Marj.
Yeah, there's a lot there. You put a lot of work into it, and I will echo that it really is important to bring these groups from all over together. And so I'm quite excited about this conference. It is the first year for it, correct?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So you've taken your knowledge, your experiences, and putting it all together. But how did the whole idea come about?
Well, I just, it was an idea that I had percolating. Marilyn had been to I run an online global education conference called GLOW, and she's been to it several times and she's presented at it several times. And so this was something that I was encouraging her to green light, and she did. So,
Okay.
we have about 500 attendees so far. 125 are presenters. They're from all over the world, every nook and cranny around the world. Have, 90 plus sessions offered. Some of them are live and some of them are asynchronous or recorded. So it starts on this Wednesday. We open the platform at 9 a.m. Central Time, and people can come in and get comfortable with the platform, attend an orientation session, learn about the charter. And then at noon, we start with live sessions and our opening keynote speaker. And that's Jennifer Nadal. She is an expert in the UK on compassion in politics, which I think is really timely. So I can't wait to hear what she has to say.
Yeah.
So that live session kicks off a slew of live sessions that you can come into a room and listen to and ask questions of these presenters from noon till 9 o'clock at night. And then at 9 o'clock at night, our recorded sessions will play automatically. I'll be in bed. And other people in other time zones around the world will be able to continue interacting on the conference platform and watching these recorded sessions throughout the night. And then in the morning, we start at 7 a.m. Central Time. We do it all over again with more live sessions until 6 p.m. on Thursday night. Everything is recorded and everything will be available as a recording as soon as we publish the recording for the 2 days of the conference for everyone. And then afterwards, for paid patrons, the recordings will be available for a year. There are, over 100 sessions. So it is over, obviously you can't go to every single one of them, but you can, take your time over the course of that year to take in some inspiration when you have time, because it will always be in our platform. We have sessions from educators, from doctors, medical doctors, from on healthcare related issues. We have academics. We have yoga practitioners and health and wellness practitioners in general. There is something for everyone.
Yeah.
And so even if you're not necessarily sold on this idea, you can dip your toe in and see if there's something that you would like to participate in.
Yeah, that I think is really well said. I'm going to give a plug for a couple of things. One is a speaker I tried to get for a group I had here, a council accountability group. Tried to get Diane Callan-Sucre to come to talk about courageous civility, the power of compassion in public life. I believe she actually did live in Canada. Do you know if it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she did, but now is in the States. So I've read her books and really quite impressed. So that is one that, again, with this climate we're in, is really important. But then bringing it close to home, I think you know that Heather Skoll, she's doing a talk about self-compassion and compassion. She's a good friend. She, till recently, had lived in Richmond Hill. She still keeps in touch with us. So, and she is a great presenter, well connected. So I am so pleased that she is there. So I've been telling friends, you got to tune into Heather. But let's tune into Heather and the others to really, as you said, there's over about 100 different presenters and really quite impressive. Now, when I tune into Diane or Jennifer Nadal, will there be any audience participation? Will I be able to ask questions or do anything? You can. So that's the advantage of being live.
Yep. So with Jennifer's session, it is a live one. It's the opening keynote at noon Central Time on Wednesday. And we're UTC -5. So if anybody knows how to deal with time zones, that might help you. And there's a chat that goes, a public chat goes along with the session, so people can, offer comments and questions and things like that. There will be a moderator who can look for questions and bring them on stage at the end if Jennifer entertains questions. I assume she will. Diane's session is recorded.
Okay.
And we're waiting for it right now. She has somebody who's supposed to edit it for her. So I don't have the file yet, but as soon as I have it, I will upload it. Hopefully I'll have it by tomorrow. And you can also send messages to our speakers who are registered for the conference through the conference platform. So Diane will not be there live. I think she's traveling, but she'll get a message if you send her a message through the conference messaging system for sure.
Okay, so there is a good way, an easy way of contacting and reaching out to others. What about other attendees?
Yeah, so there's networking things that people can do.
Can you?
One platform is called Ring Central Events. It used to be called Hop In. Particularly with the onset of the pandemic, there was a need to take conferences virtually. So there's several platforms out there for doing virtual events. And so there's a slew of them out there. And the one that I've chosen is Hop In, now called Ring Central Events. Ring Central bought it about 2 years ago. And it lets you create an event online and stream speakers.
Okay.
And there are other tools that are built into the platform. So for instance, there are chats. So there are chats so you can interact with participants. You can send direct messages. In our case, we set it up so paid ticket holders can send direct messages to others. And you can do your own little meeting on Ring Central Events. If you want to connect with someone, you can invite somebody to a meeting and you don't have to go to another platform like Zoom. You can meet right in the platform. Again, that's a feature for paid attendees.
Okay.
There's also a tool called speed networking, which is really fun. And when you join the platform, you're asked about your interests and your role in the world. And based on that information in speed networking, if you choose to do it, will match you with another person with similar interests. And then start a video conference, like a 2-minute video conference with you and somebody else. And you can meet each other and you can exchange information if you want to. And you can actually extend the conversation if you're enjoying it. And that way you can build your professional learning network using the speed networking tool. And I tried it at the last event I ran and it was really fun. I met a teacher who works on a NATO base in Belgium or the NATO base in Belgium. And she teaches high school. And it was great to hear her story and why she was interested in the topic that we were meeting about. So there's that. All the sessions are recorded, so you can go back and look at them if a session is not at a convenient time, and they are not downloadable or anything, but you can go into the platform and review them. Okay. And I'm hoping that people will share resources and we can aggregate them somehow, post-conference follow-up document or something.
Okay.
But I plan to go to a lot of sessions myself, and we'll glean some of the good resources, and maybe it'll be a blog. Maybe we'll write a blog post about it or something post-conference.
Okay. Yeah, maybe we'll have to have a follow-up podcast about all our highlights and we learned. Because I love being able to talk to people in different parts of the world. We do that through the Charter for Compassion. We're often on the call. Like even this morning, we're on the call with somebody from India, and she was talking about the conflict there. But just it brings the world reality to home. So I think that is one.
Absolutely. That's my favorite thing about this. And,
yeah, definitely.
And I'm telling you, we literally, last time I counted, I think we had about 50 countries represented. And it's even more now because the registrations are rolling in. There's not a lot of translation capabilities. That's an expensive add-on to Ring Central Events. There is one session in Spanish.
Okay.
It's a recorded session. And you can enable translation tools in your browser, Translate will work in Chrome. So on an individual basis, people could probably translate things if they wanted to.
Okay. Well, I've done 1,876 days straight of Duolingo in Spanish. Maybe I can, I'll practice listening.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? That would be great. In my Global Ed conference that I do in November, we have a whole Spanish strand. What else I can tell you about the event? It's like drinking from a fire hose.
Okay.
Trying to drink water from a fire hose. It's messy. It's great. It's refreshing.
Okay.
But it can be overwhelming. So we want people to take breaks as they need to. Mm-hmm. Always come back to it. Some people I've seen in past conferences have gotten kind of addicted to it because it's such a new and intriguing experience for them. You don't have to stick around if you have other things to do. Jump in when you can. There is an app for mobile devices, which is great for consuming the content. It's not great for presenting on.
No,
but
okay.
You can go into Google Play and look for Ring Central Events or the Apple App Store for Ring Central Events, and you can download the app. and take it with you if you have to do something like,
Yeah.
go for a walk or whatever. You can
Go
take
for
it.
a walk, get dinner going, those sort of things. And I do have an event on Wednesday night, and I think when I go to it, I'll have it on my phone, and then that's listen to it afterwards. So I've not attended a conference like this. I think I'm not the only one, so I'm happy that I have this opportunity to do it. So many of the topics look great. Like there was one that was chocolate coffee conversation. Yeah, that's me.
She's from Australia.
Yeah.
Carolyn told me that there was a shooting in a cafe in Sydney
Mm.
at some point, and that was in this woman's cafe. So
Oh.
her project has come out of this very traumatic. Her work has come out of that trauma,
Hmm.
and so I'm going to be very excited to hear what she has to say, because I don't think Australia has a huge problem like we do here in the U.S. And it must have been a shock to the system. And how do we solve for the lack of connection that leads to violence like that?
Yeah. Now the sessions are what, 20 to 50 minutes, or how does that? What are the
Yeah.
lengths?
So we have different kinds of sessions. So the most of the asynchronous ones are probably 15 to 30 minutes.
Okay.
We have general sessions and panels that are 50 minutes. We have keynote speakers and featured speakers that are 50 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something for everyone. If you just want something quick, there's some quick ones. We really encouraged organizations to tell their story and to get the word out about what they do via it could be any session they wanted to do, but the shorter format might have been more ideal for them. I really feel firmly that together we can do more. And in this day and age, as an organization, you cannot work by yourself. You cannot work in isolation. You have to have partners. You have to learn best practices from other groups and collaborate. And so, that's what the charter's been about forever, right?
Yep.
And this event is that manifestation of that. And we want people to network like crazy, to meet people, to connect on LinkedIn, to further conversations past this and elevate everyone's work. We are a network of networks, and this is kind of the penultimate event for the charter in that regard. We're kind of modeling what we preach, I think, by hosting this conference. So the more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. It's that kind of thing. And we're just really excited to bring everybody together to learn with and from each other.
I like that. Another practical question. You sign up and it's it's $10 American, right?
Yes.
Okay, which is, I looked it up, $13.81 Canadian.
Okay.
But that is not a huge cost for attending a conference and getting all this information. But once you've signed up, you don't need to register for certain sessions at all.
No, you don't.
Okay.
You just go where you want to.
You can
So
go.
the way
Yeah.
it works is the registration system right now is going through the charter's website.
Okay.
So you'll get an email from them, and then I put you into our system, and you'll get an email asking you to click on a link to finish your registration from Ring Central Events, the charter and Ring Central Events. And once you do that, you're
Okay.
there's like a second step to it, because we're not registering directly on my site on Ring Central Events.
Okay.
And you need to be using Chrome as your browser.
Okay.
Microsoft Edge is fine too.
Mm.
It's good to have headphones. You don't have to have them, but it's ideal. You do want to make sure that your Chrome browser is up to date. And there is a pre-event check, which is kind of like a media check. You can check your audio and video and bandwidth to see if your computer is up to snuff. Most people get in pretty well. We have a tutorial on the website that we send to registrants too that shows you step by step how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is a little bit of an abstract concept for people who've never done this before.
Yeah, it's a learning curve. I am wondering, how is this going to go? I am confident I've done enough things that I will figure it out and get in. So yeah, it's
allow some time. That's my big advice would be, you can go in there now. It's open.
Okay. Yep.
It's not live, but it's open. You can go and get in and kind of start wiggling your way around. When you get in, think of kind of a triptych. The left-hand side is different icons to take you to the stage or the session rooms or to speed networking or to our reception page, which is kind of the main place. And then the middle panel is the reception page, or where the content is usually. And there is the schedule, there's a list of presenters, so there's a list of sponsors, all kind of on the main page, which we call the reception page. And on the right-hand side is the event chat and other tools that will help you connect and communicate with people on the platform. So, and you also will see a button for the schedule that kind of pops out over everything too. So, if you think about it kind of like in 3 parts, it shouldn't be too bad for people.
Okay.
But we have lots of support materials to help people figure it out.
Okay. So this is not the first time you did it with the charter. You did a youth conference, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm not really, that's not my genre of interest, but I feel like I missed out. Everyone else from the charter seemed to have gone and thought it was absolutely fantastic, and there really wasn't any issue. So I don't think people are going to have issues at all. Again, the cost is $10 American, but you can sign up and not pay, but then you can't interact. You can't get the recordings.
Right.
Yeah, I do encourage
you can interact
people
in the public chat, but you just can't use the speed networking and things like that.
Yeah.
And we're trying to make this as accessible to people as well, but there are costs involved with the conference that have to be covered. And so we try to make it reasonable so that people will buy in. The recordings will be, people can buy access after the conference too. If they decide they want to have full access to everything, they can still do it after the conference.
Good point. So at least sign up, look at it, participate, and then you can make the decision afterwards to get access to this wealth of information. Okay. Well, I really appreciate you talking to me, Lucy. I have learned a lot of my questions, like how's this going to work, we have talked through, and I am very grateful for that. I do end all podcasts with a guest response to the same question. You to name one thing you really like about this community, and we'll qualify it as being the Charter for Compassion community.
Okay. I love the interfaith, intergenerational, international aspect of the charter. And, Marilyn has drawn me in over the last year or so, and they're really just good people. They're people with integrity and people who are idealistic and believe that they can change the world or improve the world. I need that now. So I find solace in the charter community, given everything that's going on.
Well said. I think I would echo those comments for why I like to be involved with the Charter for Compassion. So thank you again, Lucy, for taking the time to do this podcast, and I will sort of see you on Wednesday at the conference.
Sounds good. Thanks for this opportunity, and I hope to see everybody there. And this has been a great opportunity. This has been a great conversation, Marge. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for listening. I would very much appreciate you sharing this podcast. Consider emailing me at Marj, M-A-R-J, at marjandre.com. I welcome suggestions for podcast guests. Stay well, stay connected.